All right, so this is Sam Dennehy, aka Halfass Customs, and I'm going to show you how I build an Ecto car in 1/87 scale. So you see, I've got the Shapeway box. I ordered the car from Shapeway. It's the only place that offers an Ecto version in 1/87 scale. So I got the box, I unpack it, I examine it, make sure I got what I need. I open it up just to make sure it's all intact and ready to go, because last thing you don't want is pieces broken or pieces missing. So I'm just getting everything out, and let me tell you, doing it with one hand is not the easiest thing holding the camera. So this is a special version of the Ecto. It's a hollow body with a chassis and interior and wheels separate. So you got the body, open windows, and then you got a separate chassis with wheels and interior. And then if you don't know, this comes with the roof rack with, it's all 3D printed obviously, but a roof rack that has the siren light bars that are all solid. So you want to cut those off because you don't want to use those, because it's not going to look right with LEDs in them. So you start prepping what you need, and then you clean the kit. You clean the car, because a 3D printer is going to have this film, which I'm not sure exactly what the film is, but it's just 3D printer film, I guess. So you wash the kit with soap water, which is what I'm showing you here. I let it soak for a little bit, make sure every piece of the body in the car gets soap water on it. And then I just want to kind of rub it just to make sure it's on all the pieces. Obviously it's soaked in the bowl, so it's completely immersed in soap water, but it's just what I do. From there, I'll take it out, and then I'll start drying it. I'll get a napkin, as you'll see, and I'll start drying the car. I'm rubbing the car dry, so soap and water doesn't just take off that film. You actually have to rub it, and then even after you rub it, it'll still feel like there's residue on it, but that's fine. At least in my opinion, it's fine. Every 3D printed car I've gotten, I've done it the same way, and I've been able to paint over it with no issues, and the paint holds. So even though it still feels like there's residue on it, I think it's off enough for the paint to still apply, basically. So I'm just rubbing it, making sure I get as much off as I can. And then I examine the pieces, make sure everything is good. I cut the wheels off because I'm going to replace the wheels. We don't need those stock wheels. I'm using these wheels. They're basically resin casted Allied form Cadillac wheels from a 59 Cadillac that Allied form makes in 1/87 scale. And you can see what I'm trying to show you is the 3D printed wheel is much bigger than the Allied form wheel. So the 3D printed wheel is probably like a 16-inch wheel, maybe like a truck tire. And the Allied form wheel is closer to like a 14 or 15 inch. So I painted the chassis. It's a flat black, and the interior's flat black because in the movie it's black. Obviously you don't see the chassis in the movie, but I mean most cars are black and dirty black and dusty and dirty and everything. So Being that none of that mattered, just basically the interior mattered, I wanted to get the whole chassis interior black. So we got that painted. We got clear, a flat clear over it, so it didn't stay so shiny. And here I'm painting the actual body. So I use rattle can, and what I'm doing with this metallic, I'm using that as the base. The metallic silver that I'm using is actually a pretty thick paint, so I didn't do any body work to the print when I got it. I got it out of the box, washed it, and just made sure everything looked good. So I'm painting this silver spray paint over it to fill in any of the print marks that would probably be visible if you didn't have a thicker paint to cover it with. So that is a clear that I'm now going to seal that silver paint with. Being that it's spray paint, it's obviously thicker than airbrush, so it'll add a thicker layer to the body, so the prints, the print lines, as I guess you call them, don't show, because I didn't want to do any body work to this car. Obviously, I did buy the highest quality, so there was very little, if not none, of the body work you needed to do if you didn't want to, which I didn't. So to prevent that from needing to be done, I just spray painted with the thicker spray paint. And now I'm painting white. So it's just a flat can, or not a flat, a cheap 99-cent can of white spray paint from Walmart. And that will go over the silver base with the clear, and that'll hopefully spray good enough to allow you to have the whole car white without having to do any other paint work to it, but besides clear that white, because that's the next step. I'm going to clear the white, and then that exterior paint job for paint wise is done. Got to let it dry, obviously, and just I'm basically just making sure the paint is thick enough to where I don't have to fix it and sand it down later, because sometimes you can spray it too lightly, and if you didn't do the body work first, if you want it to look right, you need to then sand it down. So being that I didn't want to do that, I'm just getting the paint as thick as possible without losing any of the detail from like the grill or the rear bumper or door lines or door handles, because obviously spray paint is thicker than airbrush, and you can, if you're not knowing what you're doing, lose that detail. So I've got it painted. It looks like it's dry. I painted the clear over it. Now it's time to put it together. So Dave's Decals is the decal company I use to make my decals. And now we're applying the decals. So this is Ecto-1B. So it's the video game version of the car. And as you can see, the car's slowly looking like an Ecto. Got the chrome around the windows, got the chrome bumpers. I've got the windows installed. Now I'm putting the Bosch headlights, not the headlights, the light bars on, and it comes with the spotlights. So there we go. You can see spotlights are on. I've got the ladder cut, now ready to paint black. Got the antennas going, and now this car is done. So, well, now the car's done, sorry. Now the car's done. Spotlights are painted blue, and we're good to go.